souls. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Hate Monday, brought to you by Time Out Wellness. I am your host, Kisei, and today's episode is full of full circle moments. We're moving to survival mode, and we're going to help you learn how to thrive. This is the podcast where you can. No, I'm going to redo that. Sorry, guys. Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of Don't Hate Monday, brought to you by Time Out Wellness, the space where we can take a pause from the noise, get grounded, and tap into the conversations that elevate the culture. I'm your host, Kisei, and today's episode is a full circle moment. We're moving from survival mode to thriving. Whether you're in your car, your kitchen, or a sacred space, get cozy because the episode is pouring into you from every angle. Let's start with our affirmation of the day. Inhale, exhale. I am no longer surviving. I am thriving, healing, and reclaiming joy on my own terms. Say that again. I am no longer surviving. I am thriving, healing, and reclaiming joy on my own terms. I see this all the time where people don't know how to heal. So again, I'm always going to speak therapy. If you are going through a traumatic situation that you have never went through, please go ahead and seek some therapy so that person can help you unpack that bag. I definitely have a episode that I did with my own therapist, and after doing that episode, I was like, I need more therapy, and it's just necessary. I have to really put that out so everybody can see how necessary therapy is. Our intention of the day is to acknowledge how far you've come and give yourself permission to receive peace without guilt. Acknowledge how far you've come and give yourself permission to receive peace without guilt. I see that a lot. People just moving in guilt. Like, I'm going to take my own mother, for instance. My father died when I was young, and I definitely know now that I'm older, my mother did a lot of things because she felt guilty I didn't have my father, which, that can be a disservice for the child. But, no, that's not a good explanation. But she was moving in peace. But I see people do it all the time. Parents, you move in guilt just because of your lack, and we have to really give ourselves peace about what we're not perfect about, and that we move in guilt ways because it's not a good outcome for the person you're doing it for, if that makes sense. Our word of the day is emerge. It means to come forth into view or notice as from concealment or obscurity. Use it today. The season I emerge as my highest self. So if you are scared, emerge. What are you scared of? I know a lot of people are scared of what other people have to say, but this is what I love to say to those people. Why are you concerned about what those people have to say? Because those people have their own closet. So emerge. Go ahead and be whatever person you want to be. Do not try and hide from a whole bunch of other people who's trying to hide. You only get one time to do this, and be your best version of yourself. And be true to yourself. Like, life is too short to be going through life in a lie. It's too short. And just don't perpetrate a fraud for whoever. Emerge. All right, so in current events, we have historic HBCUs are receiving some grant money to expand scholarships and also renovate some surrounding areas. I don't know where the money came from. I'm sure private donors, because we know the federal people don't want to give them any money. So, but they have got a big donation to elevate the areas around the school. All right, so let's talk about Trump. Let's talk about some politics. I mean, we all know what's going on with Trump and his tariffs, and it really bothers me that I was just watching. I've been watching a couple of TikToks, and it's weird. It's sad and weird how people really think that I'll say the Trumpicans, the MAGAs think that we are not responsible for paying for that tariff. I don't know why they don't understand that the consumer is going to eat that, is going to absorb that. They're thinking that the actual country is going to absorb it. I heard one lady saying that she thought China was going. I'm like, I don't even understand how people understand that. Like, that's like junior high school civics, the tariffs. So let your people know that we are responsible for those tariffs. I was just telling the girls, like, we get these nice little packages from Shein, and Shein is nice and cheap. It's very affordable. It's very cute. Okay, like I could legit get a $200 from Shein, a $200 package from Shein, and probably have enough clothes for months. You know, they're throwaway outfits. So, but that $200 package is probably going to turn into like $250. So everything, and we got a lot of stuff from China. But what I did see is China is inviting everybody to come over there and to shop for cheap. They're giving you a certain amount of hours for you to go over and shop. But I don't know, and mail it back so you don't get, hit with the tariffs coming back. But I'm like, I don't. They're letting you come in, but I'm like, the tariffs are probably high on the plane tickets going to China. I don't know, but China is, and before they also said that at one time you would get prosecuted if you sold in like bootleg any Louis Vuitton or anything like that. They're not prosecuting. They want you to come get it for cheap. So if we're paying $40 for a shirt here, you could probably get it in China for like $15. So just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. Also, another thing I meant to talk about last week as far as the immigration situation, and he's getting everybody out of here. He's making all kinds of mistakes, deporting people, and so on and so forth. But when I was reading my communications book last week, I seen something that I'm actually on the chapter. I'm reading the chapter where it talks about culture and intercultural, etc., etc., different cultures. So initially, America, the term melting pot is not what I always thought it to be. I thought when I say a melting pot, that means everybody comes here and everybody is as one. But America had a different interpretation. Their interpretation was for the immigrants, from back whenever. When you came over here, you automatically just fell into suit with our ideologies. You would leave your own culture back there. You would come right over here into our world and seamlessly melt and be a part of our culture. No bringing your culture over here. No talking about your culture. None of that. It's just American and American way. You can come, but make sure you leave whatever you celebrate, whatever you worship, leave it back there, because when you come here, it's gotta be like that. And if you are gonna worship that, make sure you worship in that behind your closed doors. We don't want to know nothing about that. So what's going on right now is called globalization, and Trump ain't here for that. That's why he wants to make America great again, when it was just Americans, just no. Or I'm not even gonna say no Americans. When people came in, they followed suit. So that's why he's trying to get rid of, any kind of um, black anything, any kind of anything recognizing any kind of culture. He's trying to get rid of all that because, in his eyes, is like, no, we shouldn't be putting a light on that because they need to be following suit. So I was always running around talking about, oh, the melting pot, the melting pot. I'd be close to say, you can hear me say it all the time about Long Branch. Long Branch is the melting pot. No, Long Branch is globalized. And that's not what he's looking for. He doesn't want any kind of globalization. He wants you all to be classic Americans and whitewashing everything so white America looks good. But all you gotta do is be a little open-minded and find out that America is definitely a piece of work. Not America, the people. So let's move on to I spoke last week about The Handmaid's Tale. So I never heard of The Handmaid's Tale until Kendrick did Super Bowl, and when the girls came out following behind SZA, I seen the red, white, and blue, but I didn't know what it was from. And then as I was watching other people break the video down, one girl was saying, "Oh, and he had the girls come out behind SZA like The Handmaid's Tale." So I was like, "What?" I didn't think much of it. I just kept it in the back of my head, but I didn't think much of it. And then I was watching another person. She was upset about white women. She's like, "White women, haven't you all seen Handmaid's Tale?" So I was like, "I need to see this." So I went online to look for it, and I found the movie. It was written in 1985, and not only is it a movie from 1985, it has a series, a whole series, like 6 seasons series. So it's not something that just came and went. It was here. It came out in 2017. So at first I was like, I'm not concerned with watching that. I just really want to see what the movie's about. I want to see where Kendrick, got his idea from. However, as I watched the movie, I became more disturbed. I was very disturbed. It was weird. It was so weird. I would definitely invite everybody to watch it because it was definitely like watching 1983 and 2025 right here in my face. And it was just weird. So I was uncomfortable after I watched the movie. I was like really uncomfortable. And I got 100% where Kendrick was talking about even with the I don't think they show that in the movie, but with the women, even with the women coming in, how they walked in is like that. Because of course, after I watched the movie, I was like, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this series because a book is always better than the movie. And this movie was an hour and 20 minutes. And if that was that sick in an hour and 20 minutes, I know they cut a lot out. So I'm like, I gotta read the book. And I said, you know what? Let me watch this series because, of course, the series is 6 seasons, so they're definitely breaking the book down better in the series. I started watching it, y'all. It's the craziest shit ever. I don't even understand how I didn't know anything about this. I absolutely understand why people are saying white women. Didn't y'all look at Handmaid's Tale and y'all still went and voted for that man? If y'all had not seen that movie, and this is how I told my brother, because my brother's like, "Oh, I want to read the book first." I'm like, "No," because I feel like if once you read the book, you'll be disappointed by the movie and the series. So I'm happy I did the way I did it. I watched the movie. Now I'm more interested. Now I'm looking at the series, and then I'm gonna read the book. And that series is really good. Like me and my sister friend are watching it together, and I've already cheated a couple times. I'm like, I had to go, I had to see it. It's just like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But the movie is set in 1985, but that series is set in 2017, present time. Well, it says near future, so I would assume they mean like more like whatever. It's still, I mean, they still got cell phones and it's still moving and shaking. It looks like what we're going through right now, and it's crazy because I was like, yo, this is exactly what I feel like is unfolding in front of our eyes. I would invite everybody to go watch that. Go watch the movies and watch the series. Even I'm only on like season. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm still on season 1, but I'm only on like episode 7, and I see so much of what's going on right now. So I'm really excited to see what the rest of it unfolds. The Handmaid's Tale. Go watch it. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm also reading or listening to the original Black Elite. That's an audiobook I started last week after I got finished with Viola Davis's book, which is really good. If you weren't here last week, I had a whole meltdown. I even cried online. I never do that, but I did because it's such a good book. I would invite anybody, if you love her, go check her out. She has a new series out too, Viola Davis. I'm not sure the name of it, but I know she had a new one come out. But anywho, I'm reading the original Black Elite. Is a story about it's a true story about Daniel Murray, This was set in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's basically saying how these people they really pride themselves on being educated and upstanding to try and make white people accept them because they, even then white people felt like, oh, they're lazy, they're stupid, whatever, whatever. So they really pride themselves on being smart, articulate, and striving, thriving in life. They still having issues, and I see where the book is going, but it's building it up, and it's a really good book to read, if nothing else, because you kind of learn where you come from. You do learn where you come from. And the first time I heard about this book was from Dr. I forgot her name. I don't have it in front of me. She is a doctor that teaches at, I wouldn't say A&T, and she started Hillman Talk on TikTok, and that was the first book she wanted us to read. And I understand it. It's basically how, we have built ourselves up. This is where it's going. We have built ourselves up for them to tear us down. And again, this is like seeing right now, then back then. So that's another book for you to read too. The Original Black Elite. If you don't want to read, I get Audible. But my whole thing to push for us is you need to be reading, you need to be evolving your mind. Just because you're out of school does not mean you don't need to still be reading, educating yourself. You need to keep doing that. You need to keep doing that. I was talking to somebody the other day, and 3 times she was like, somebody told me. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, it might have been you. And each time she said someone told me, it was me. And everything I had told her, I had read within like a week or two. So I just say this to say, keep evolving your mind, keep reading, keep expanding, keep reading. And when you read things from the past, it just makes you want to be better now, okay? Because they are definitely trying to they're trying to just get us out of here. Okay, celebrity news. Angela Bassett is producing a new docuseries highlighting black women over 50 who are reinventing themselves. How about that? Hello, Alignment. Now, well, who is that? TP the Queen. I appreciate you. Miss Queen, thank you. So, it's so crazy because when reinventing 50, because that is basically what my podcast is all about at this point. Redefining 50. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. It's all about reinventing yourself at 50. I'll be 50 in October. And I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay going into 50, but I know it's some people who aren't. Who they feel like, I know when I was growing up, 50 was like old, and not only old, I felt like, I felt like they was like moving old. They're not moving like us. Like I'm not my grandmother and her sisters. I'm definitely redefining what 50 looks like. So she is too. And that just goes to show that, I'm doing the right thing because my auntie in my head is doing it. And also, Alexa, was Usher just awarded an honorary doctorate?
From Berkeley.edu, NBC News published a story about Usher receiving an honorary doctorate from Berkeley at the 2023 commencement ceremony.
He got an honorary doctorate in music innovation, and that's very fitting for him. Very, very fitting for him, because he is definitely an innovator. One time for Usher. I'm proud of him for that. All right, let's talk about our finance fun fact. Women over 50 are starting businesses at the fastest rate in America. Many are launching wellness, consulting, and beauty brands. Just like Viral Body Butter by Kise, get yours. All right, it's all natural, very hydrating, it leaves you nice and soft. I had a client the other day, an older client. She was like, my man is always telling me how soft I am. Yes, I love that. So get yours today. All right. And not only are women over 50 starting businesses the fastest, black women have the most businesses that are being brought into existence and thriving. So get into it. Okay, for our celebrity birthdays, we have Sarah Michelle Gellar. Now, when I was getting this together, Said she was from Buffy. I watched her a lot growing up. I don't think I watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I don't really know. I feel like she was in something else. But they said Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but it's Sarah Michelle Gellar's birthday and Anthony Michael Thomas. And I mean, I love Anthony Michael Thomas, of course, 80s 80s king, one of them. You know, you can't think about the 80s without thinking about Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Weird Science. He was all up in that. So today's his birthday. Alexa, how old is Anthony Michael Hall today?
Anthony Michael Hall is 57 years old.
Jeez, he's 57. I feel old as hell. Jeez. One time for him, I love him. I always did. I love him. All right, let's go into some horoscopes, short and sweet. Aries, a breakthrough is coming. Don't resist change. Taurus, rest is not lazy, it's necessary. Gemini, speak life. Your words are manifesting your next season. Yes. Cancer, someone needs your softness today. Be open. That bold idea, it's ready for action. Jump into it. Virgo, simplify. Everything doesn't need fixing. Libra, you bring balance. Don't dim that. Note taken. Scorpio, shed what no longer fits and flourish. Amen. Sagittarius, travel plans or mindset shifts ahead. Both matter. Capricorn, you're not behind. You're being rooted. Yes. Aquarius, make space for quiet. Your clarity lives there. Pisces, dream bigger. The universe is listening. Yes, the universe is absolutely listening. I'm going to do an episode on manifesting. That's a good one for y'all to do. Self-care tip of the day, unplug for 1 hour. Phone off, music low, just you and the moment. You'd be surprised at how that can recharge you. Sometimes I don't even do an hour. Like I know if I've been working on something and I'm about to go into another project, I definitely disconnect, get low, and just meditate for a few minutes just to clear my mind. It's almost like cleansing a palate before you eat something else. So I just like cleanse my mind and just meditate and just release myself and get ready for the next thing. Y'all, a lot of people don't understand how helpful meditation is. It's so helpful. And I would definitely encourage people to meditate. If you have not started, meditate. If you don't know how, go to YouTube University. But you'd be surprised how meditating helps. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Our Black History fun fact. Did you know Maggie Lena Walker was the first Black woman to charter and serve as president of a U.S. bank? The St. Luke Penny Savings Bank in 1903. She went from surviving post-slavery Jim Crow to thriving Black economic power. And she was definitely a powerhouse. They tried it. She went to try to get a loan. They denied her. And she went and started her own bank. Only gave mortgages to Black people, really helped us thrive. So, you got to know where you come from to know where you're going. All right? We have such the Black folks have such a way, we have such a way of making something out of nothing. We do. And that's exactly what she did. She had a whole bank after they told her no. So, as Aunt Shirley would say, if they don't bring a chair for you, bring a fold-up chair. All right? Our health tip of the day is add magnesium to your routine. It helps with sleep, mood balance, and muscle relaxation. Leafy greens, avocado, and pumpkin seeds are great natural sources. Magnesium is really good. I know when I first started therapy, we were just trying to balance out as far as because my therapist, she's holistic. She don't believe in like traditional medication, and I'm for that too. I'm not crazy for that either. But magnesium is one of the things that we really need in our diet. So she has me taking magnesium pills, like for brain functioning. Also, she's even taught me to like sprinkle a little bit, because I work out, sprinkle a little bit in my shower and plug the shower and let my feet absorb that magnesium. If you can't take a bath. She also has, she's made a spray of it and it sprays her body. You know what? I'm gonna make some to sell it. Spray some for your body. So that's gonna help. It really does help. I feel like it really does help. With your mind, with your frame of mind, everything. It does help. You need all those balances, especially at this age. We're missing a lot of vitamins and nutrients that we have. Hey there, Mukiara. Thank you. We're missing a lot of vitamins and hormones that we had 20 and 30 years ago, 30 years ago, because at 50, you start to lose a lot of stuff. So it's definitely necessary to put in what you're taking out. Like, most of us are going through menopause, so make sure you're doing your, I like black coash for menopause. Make sure you're doing your collagen. Make sure you're taking all your vitamins. It's so necessary. You got to really think of, how when children were young, we wanted to make sure they had all their stuff so they can grow up properly. You got to think of that now, because we are really in the second phase of our life, the second half of our life, and 50 years went by real fast. I can remember 4 years old. Legit. I can remember my 4th birthday. Miss Curley took me to Toys R Us and got me a doctor set for my 4th birthday. Whoever's from Neptune, Rafia, Rasheen, and oh my God, Roby, Rasheen, and Rafia's mom. 4 years old. I remember this. We went to Toys R Us. That's when it was in Eatontown. It was in Eatontown, across the street from Monmouth Mall. Okay, I went there and I got a doctor set. I was 4 years old. I'm 49 now. I'll be 50, and I can remember it like yesterday. I say this to say, these next few years are going to go by real fast. And if you're gracious enough, the universe will give you a lot more years. But let's just be honest. A lot of us have less years ahead of us than we have more years behind us than we do ahead of us. I mean, I see people that I grew up with someone died I grew up with the other day, young. So we just have to really take care of ourselves, and definitely, please, please, please get yourself some mental health, because people are dying. I feel like out of misery. Some of the times I hear, like, I've heard, or people have, overdose and stuff like that, and it's like, I'm a firm believer in drug abuse comes from something that happened to you, and it elevates to you being an addict. Whatever it may have been, whatever trauma it was, whatever trauma you had, you start doing that, and before you know it, you're doing it and doing it and doing it, and before you know it, you're an addict, you're an alcoholic, and now you feel like you're so deep in you can't get out. So it's so necessary for everybody to get some mental health, so people can understand, like, whatever bag you have in front of you, you need to learn how to unpack it intentionally, because we only get one time to do this, and we don't want to waste this precious time. It's truly a gift, this thing called life. And I just want to be aware of it, and I want to be peaceful. And it's all about, the mental health is a big, big, big situation. Growing up, I did a conversation with Keisha yesterday with somebody who works in school district. She lives in Florida. She works in the school district, but she was saying, start your kid early with therapy. Like, she was saying, I said 10. She said even younger if you need to, because if you notice your child doing different things at a young age, kids are very pure. So if you just see some weird behavior, take them to a therapist. People are wanting to medicate these children. Take them to a therapist and make sure nothing happened. It's uncomfortable, but you have to do that. You owe that child that right. So I'm really encouraging everybody to please, 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 please get some help, especially if you're the one saying, I don't need it, because you need it most. That's another thing too about reading what's her name, Viola Davis's book, she was that person who was like, I don't need therapy. And meanwhile, she needed it real bad. And she's grateful that she went and got it. Because we carry trauma from childhood into adulthood, and we've never unpacked it. We've suppressed stuff, and we've never unpacked it, and we look to self-medicate through other ways, and it's not always great. So I would definitely beg for everybody to go see some therapy. Especially if you're a person, if you're the person saying I don't need therapy, I'm especially speaking to you. I'm especially speaking to you, because to me that's the trauma fight, and it does not want to be rectified. So if you're looking at this saying, well, I don't need therapy, you need it most. You need it most. And now they have made it so easy for you to have therapy. I had a friend the other day. She was like, "Oh, everybody I looked at, they want to do it online." I said, "Well, why not?" She's like, "Because she wants to go to the office." Trust me when I tell you this, guys. Online is fine, because when I felt like that too at first, and I wanted to go to my therapist, but honey, she's way in New Brunswick, and if you're in New Jersey, we know what 18 could look like going to New Brunswick in the morning. It's not something I wanted to do. I didn't want to get up. My appointment's at 9. That means I have to leave the house by 8, which means I have to get up, get dressed. I'm not doing all that. I'm wasting 2 hours. I could just stay at home. And that's exactly what I started doing, and we still get things done. So they're making it very, very easy for everybody to have therapies. Not like we grew up in an era in don't say anything, keep it in the house, and which is why you see people at this age like just tapped out. So get yourself some therapy. All right, so let's talk about from survival mode to thriving. Let's get into the real deal. So many of us were raised to survive, really, to stay small, to be quiet, to stay safe. But surviving isn't living. We definitely have been groomed to, get a good job. You stay there until you retire. You take a vacation once a year, and you get your retirement, and maybe get a part-time job. That's what we have been thought of. That's surviving. And honestly, that's not how it's supposed to be. Like, even if you're biblical, even in the Bible tells you that we're supposed to be like getting it. Like, we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be basic average people. I mean, some people have to be. Well, somebody has to be basic, but that's not what we're built to be. So surviving is not living. Thriving means feeling joy without guilt, resting without shame, and dreaming without limits. It means healing when hurt. It means healing what hurt you without identifying as the hurt. Again, that's all going back to therapy. If you want to thrive, you need to be able to understand why you're not. And why you're not is probably something psychological that happened that you don't even remember, something that you suppressed and try to forget about, and it's really blocking you. So here's what thriving might look like to you: saying no without explanation, building a morning routine that honors your nervous system. Let's go back to that. Saying no without explanation. I love that. I was just giving my friend a pat on the back, because when I tell you, she's the sweetest person in the world, and she would yes everybody. And meanwhile, I'm in the background like, you need to say no. You need to say. I'm that way too. And I've gotten to the point where it's like I can't take on so many. I can't do so many tasks where I can't keep saying yes. So I have learned to say no and just no. So a lot of times when we say no, we feel like we have to give an explanation. No, period. No. Whatever it may be. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. Whatever, you don't want to be bothered with it, no. Unapologetically. So what if you're mad? All right? Building a morning routine that honors your nervous system. And definitely, I'm at the phase now where, I like to start my days with brain food, which my smoothie. I love my mangoes, my mixed berries to start with. I'll blend them up. I either drink it or I'll make it thick enough, or, I can eat it with my fresh fruit. But we definitely want to make sure we are honoring our body in the morning. We have to make sure we are putting good gasoline in our body for the day. I always start my day with my matcha, with my green tea, with my matcha powder. Green tea is so good for your body, such an antioxidant. And matcha powder also helps too. Not only an antioxidant, it also helps with brain fog and just fat burning, healthy, so good for you. Shout out to my one good girlfriend. She just came back from Japan and she sent me a picture. She said, I got this for you. I'm going to hold on to it. I'm like, girl, mail that to me. So shout out to Renee. She's going to send me some. She got me some matcha when she was over in Japan. And I'm so excited because I love matcha. If you know me, you know I live for matcha. I really do. But I start my day with that. I usually, well, depending on what the season is. And these past 6 months have been different. I have not really been living like I normally live just because I've been healing. But usually my mornings start with watching the sunrise or some kind of meditation situation, working out, eating, and so on and so forth. But definitely want to make sure you're eating right, and you definitely want to make sure you are working out, especially if you're hitting 50, if you have hit 50, or if you're going to hit 50. Work that body out and eat right. Okay? Also can mean starting a business, applying for that grant, or booking the solo trip. Definitely start the business. Absolutely start the business. I mean, I'd rather you start the business and fail than you not start the business and saying, I wonder if I would have started that, what would have happened? Start it. If it don't work, so what? Failure is an event. It doesn't last all the time. It's an event. Just like you party ends at a certain time, failure ends at a certain time, and next up, the only way you're gonna succeed if you fail. And you can't be you can't be afraid. You can't be worried about what somebody has to say, what somebody is going to say. Who cares? Do it for you, and that way you can see if it works out, it works out. But start that business, go for it, and apply for the grant. Now, this is something that I was always scared of because I'm like, I'm not a writer. I don't apply for a grant. I don't even know what to write. I need to go hire a grant writer. So with AI now, they can do it for you. If you don't know about ChatGPT, get into it. I had somebody tell me yesterday, I was talking to them, they was like, I don't really get into it. If you're my age, get into AI, especially if you're going to start a business. Especially. Um, yeah, it was a grassroots guy. He was more like, But AI really has changed the game it's changing the game for all of us, okay? The stuff that AI has taught me is stuff that I absolutely would have had to hire a person for. When I was figuring out everything for the body butters, ChatGPT figured out all of that. I just put in how much money would I make if I spend this much money on supplies and I have this much and I want to fill up this kind of this size, and that size. It broke it down to me what each with each what each size cost me to make with supplies and all everything, supplies and a jar and in the labeling. It broke it down with each one of it. It broke it down with if I sold it for this much, what my profit margin is for. It broke all that down. Something that ain't what I do. I formulate skincare and do skincare. So I had no idea about any of that. I would have absolutely had to hire somebody to give me all that information. But now with ChatGPT, you can absolutely ask it to write you a grant for whatever. And ChatGPT is so friendly. If you have to know how to speak to it. I am applying for a grant. Well, generate whatever. I am applying for a grant for whatever. And you put your key elements in, what you need to present to the people, and you'd be surprised at what it will produce for you. It blows my mind every day. I just wrote myself my goals for the next 5 years. It gave me a nice schedule for the next month, what I want to do. It broke it down by day, what I'm going to do. It gives me my schedule. I'll tell it today I need to work on blah, 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 blah. It breaks it down for me. So AI is your good girlfriend, like I said, especially for someone my age, our age. If you're 50 up, 45 and up, and you're starting a business, you need to get into ChatGPT. Now, I got a subscription to, it's called Coursive, Coursiv. It's an AI program, and it's all about it. It's a subscription. You pay $30 per month, and It tells you everything about AI you need to know. Everything. And at first I thought it was an online course. And I'm just like, why can't I finish this? Like my first month home, I'm like reading for 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day. Like, why can't I get finished with this? And then finally I realized, and I said, why are they still charging me for this course? I paid for it. And when I dug a little deeper, it was like, oh, this is a subscription. It's $30 a month. It's a subscription. And when I tell you they update the information, which is why I was never able to finish it, because they keep adding information. But the amount of information that I read is unbelievable. I had a friend that, he's another, grassroots. Like they almost feel like, some of these guys almost feel like, especially my really, really smart friends, they feel insulted by ChatGPT. I had one of them tell me, ChatGPT is for you. You probably need it. I don't. Okay? I made him a believer though. I absolutely made him a believer. So take a look at it. I ask it all kinds of stuff when I show him how, make me meal prep. I need to prep my meals for the next 3 days. Prep me a pescatarian diet for 3 days. Give me the recipes, the grocery list, and the instructions. It'll do that. B5 or B6, what is that? Best places, I'm not sure what that means. Am I a B5 or a B6? I never heard that one. That was so cute. Thank you, Best Places. I appreciate that compliment. That was cute. That was really cute. I never heard that one. It was corny, but it was cute. I never heard that one. I can't wait to use it on somebody. That was a good one. And I'm 49. I never heard that before. I appreciate that. So yeah, guys, go ahead and get into ChatGPT and write that grant. All right. You're so cute. Give it to me. Also, book that solo trip. And if you're scared about booking a trip, ChatGPT will do that too. I asked it the last few trips I took. Give me a itinerary for such and such. I'm getting in on this date, and I want to do this, 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 and this. It presented it to me. You look like the lady who gave me tickets today. I do? What does she look like? Because when I opened it, it said fine. That was cute. You are too cute. Too cute. Yeah, booking the solo trip, going to therapy. Number one, go to therapy. Go to therapy. Learning a new language. ChatGPT will help you with that too. It's actually helping me learn how to speak another language right now. So ChatGPT will help with that. Or falling in love for the first time. Or falling in love with yourself again. That can definitely mean that. I definitely feel like I feel like these last 6 months, I just met myself, like the real me. I feel like these other years of my life, I was just surviving. I was just in a role. But now I feel like I just met me, and I'm definitely on a different path mentally. Okay, you have another one? Too cute. What's your last one? I'm here for it. Wow, are you mixed? I am mixed a little bit. With what? You look half fine and half mine. You are too cute. You're too cute. How old are you? 10? So adorable. Ask yourself today, what does thriving look like for the version of you? Ask yourself today, what does thriving look like for the version of me I'm becoming? I want you to tell me in the comments, what does that look like to you? Are you becoming a grandma? Are you planning a solo trip? What are you doing? What does that look like? What does thriving look like? Did you get back in school? Did you get a serious workout plan? What does it look like for you? I want to hear it in the comments. But Guys, that's about it for me today. Beautiful people, I appreciate you being here with me. If this resonated with you, please share it with somebody. Please like and comment. Please subscribe as well. And if you're still stuck in survival mode, go ahead and get out of it. Go ahead and reach the stars. Leave us a review and let me know what you're thinking about, how you're feeling about going into 50. Please make sure you are joining us every Sunday for every Sunday at 7 for We Are Not Okay. That's where I co-host with Nasir, and we are talking about how we can elevate the culture. Last night we spoke about Donald Trump and how we're going against ourselves. So that was a good one too. Next week, I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about. We always find something to talk about to make you think. So join us next. I'll light this up. I'll come on here because when we tape, it doesn't come on these two flat platforms. So I'll make sure I'm live so you guys can listen in. But it's really, really good stuff. And last night we talked about the tariffs, of course, immigration. So we would love for you guys to join us. I also have conversations with Kisei that I tape live on Fridays. I'm kind of behind in editing. So, but this past episode, I interviewed good girlfriend Tiffany. She wrote another book, Zori's Magic, and it's all about little kids finding their magic. So I have that on Fridays. I also have one I have to put up with my therapist. So it's a lot of good information I'm putting out. Please make sure you are checking me out on YouTube, Time Out with Kisei. The link, actually, I think the links in my bio is here to my viral body butter. But you could put my name there, Kisei, and you'll find me, Time Out with Kisei. So go ahead and subscribe for me over there. Check out my episode from last week. And until the next time, make sure you're taking time out and take care of yourself. All right, guys. Peace out. All right, TikTok. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys.